Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. And welcome to this webinar by Celero, How to Gain Marketing Insights from Your Data. Can you go to the next slide, please? So for this morning, the agenda, as you can see on your screen, I'm just going to open it up with the general introduction. Myself, I'm the General Manager of FinTech Solutions here at Celero. My name is Rojan Nair. Along with me, I have Nate Shahan, the co-founder and chief operating officer of Segmint. Nate will be taking you through the case of how you're going to derive member insights for personalized marketing. And then we also have Ken Blackshire, Vice President of Business Development Segment. And Ken is going to give us some insights into what the tool is all about and a few case studies. And I'll close the meeting exactly at 11 o'clock with some remarks and giving you some overview of where we are with this initiative and what are the possibilities for the credit unions to partner in this journey. Can you go to the next slide, please? Next one. As part of Celero's 3.0 digital ecosystem vision, we're constantly looking at exploring partnerships with leading fintech solutions. And we are looking at the possibility of having these fintech solutions that can integrate very easily with components like business analytics, digital process automation, the digital banking, client relationship management components of our solution ecosystem. Can you go to the next slide? So I'm excited to really have Segmint present their award-winning data-driven marketing technology to all of us today. So Segmint offers a technology platform that really leverages the actual consumer data, and it helps the marketing folks to understand and even anticipate the needs of the target audience. And with this understanding, a data-driven understanding, it really helps the marketing component of the credit union and the financial institution to serve their members really with highly relevant and personalized campaigns that they can deliver at the precise moment when a member is, for example, considering a purchase. So we, as a credit union service organization, has seen a tremendous opportunity to have a solution like Segmint fit into our analytics offering. And without further ado, I'll be inviting Nate Shahan, the co-founder and chief operating officer of Segmint, to talk a little bit more about the product, what it offers, so we can get into an in-depth presentation here. Over to you, Nate.
Thanks, Rojan. Just want to make sure you can hear me okay?
We can.
Great. Well, first, on behalf of Segmint, I want to thank everybody for attending today. We're very excited about our partnership with Celero and as well as being part of what they're bringing to you as their customers, being a part of that analytics ecosystem and being part of that picture. We're very excited about that. So again, thanks for attending today. And as the screen was implying, we're seeking our whole mission and vision as a company is to help make banking and personal again with the members of the institution. And as the previous slide was displaying, there's been a shift in the market where a lot of that personalization and those personalized engagements occurred at the branch, and that's still happening. But nowadays you see new channels added to that, and the ability and the opportunity to engage with our members has increased through the onset of these technologies, but it's been very difficult to personalize those engagements over some of those new, less traditional channels that we see in the market today. And really, expectations of our members are shifting as well. It's really the expectation of the member of what they expect to be provided from their institution and from the credit union. And so this timeline here that you see on screen now really kind of speaks to that evolution that we're seeing with the expectations of our members. And it used to be very important, right, and one of the main goals of the institution to ensure that there was a wide variety of offerings and products and services that the institution and that the credit union could offer their members to ensure that they maintained a broad and sticky and engaging relationship, and that they could fulfill all the needs that their members have from a financial perspective, right? And that's still there, but that's evolving and has shifted and changed a little bit to members that have had expectations around wanting to handle their banking on their own terms and in the channels that they prefer to operate within, right? And so we've seen in the previous 15 years evolution of technologies, scalability of internet, availability of mobile interactions and online banking, and these channels that have been exposed. It's really our members that have taken us there, that have driven the institution to engage with them on these channels that they expect to be engaged on, just to simplify their life. And now we're seeing, it says tomorrow, but we're really already seeing a new expectation of our members coming about and being more prevalent. And that's really around the expectation that our members have around making the relationships with the institution add value to my life, right? As a member of the institution, I not only expect to have a great variety of channels to engage with, I not only expect my institution to have all the products and services I need, I expect the institution to be able to predict and understand, based on the data I'm supplying, when I need those products and make those available to me without me having to ask. So, and why is this shift? Why do we see this shift in the industry? It's not just in the industry of financial, and it's not just in specific to credit unions or banking. Our members' expectations are being influenced and driven through their constant interactions throughout the day, throughout every day, with other industries and solutions and services provided by other industries, right? And we all know, we are as guilty as everyone else. We engage with just these example brands you see on screen, right? We engage with these brands multiple days throughout the week, multiple hours throughout the day, and multiple minutes throughout the hour. There's no getting around this. I guarantee everyone on the call today has some sort of an addiction to one of these, and there's great reason for that. It's because these companies and these industries are collecting data on their customers by the minute and by the second, just like the institutions are, just like you as an institution, as a credit union, are collecting new data, new insights from your customers with every card swipe, every bill pay, every page visited within your public-facing website, right? And what these industries are doing and what these companies are so successful at in growing their business and serving their customers is they're leveraging that valuable data, right? Their version of transaction data, their version of product portfolio data and channel engagement data. They're leveraging that information very effectively in an automated way and leveraging it across every channel engagement they have with their customers. But I think we would all agree, and what we see and what we've seen for the last 10 years being in business as Segmint is financial institutions are lagging behind in this trend, right? We see 64% of customers at the institution feel retailers like Amazon, Zappos, Netflix really know more about them than their bank or credit union does. As it's quoted here, other industries have already impacted customer expectations and really set the bar, set new standards. Banks have no choice but to place the customer and user experience at the heart of every decision. And that's so critical. Again, the expectations that we see, the shift in expectations are driven by other industries that are producing and collecting large sums of data about their members and their customers, just like you are as the institution, and they're putting it to action. And the great thing about it is the members expect this. They welcome this shift. They're looking forward to the financial industry and for their credit unions to better serve them because they are data aware and they are technically savvy. And what this screen points out is really just to try to really reaffirm and reiterate some of this constant theme. And this is not a knock on direct mail. Direct mail is a very, very good channel, still well received by many members of financial institutions, banks, and credit unions alike. But the key are the expectations of those messages. Are they personalized to that customer through that channel? You see here just an example, 42-year-old female, right, pointing out this is a real quote that her institution continues to market her products that she's already applied for and accepted, right? And one they did not even approve her for, right? And so the concern is there's how many pieces of mail, right, or how many other channel interactions are going out to your members with just basic blocking and tackling information that could avoid a message going to that member, right? Using data in a basic way to avoid these types of scenarios that you see on screen. So 91% of financial institutions say personalization is important, but few are actually providing personalization. So really what this is this trend, the opportunity out there now, the time is now to really make this shift and transition, right? Even though banking in general is lagging behind in these areas, you can see based on the kind of the breakouts of financial institutions, the types of customers they serve here, whether you're a large national institution, a community bank, or a credit union, there is at least an emerging trend, right? There's thought, effort, planning, and strategy putting towards creating the ability to personalize messages and guide customers in an intelligent way, leveraging data through the channels they engage with. It's a good checkpoint there. That's the best way. I think all the information we provided previously to this screen and that I just talked about is a good way to really describe what Segmint is all about and the types of technologies and services we provide to our customers, the credit unions and banks that leverage our platforms and services. And it's really all about helping our institutions easily understand and leverage their data to interact with their members and customers and quickly measure results and automate this in a way for institutions of all sizes to benefit from. And we serve our customer base, our credit unions and banks of all sizes, ranging from 200 million in assets on up, right? And so regardless of your size, you still are collecting valuable data and have valuable channel engagements with your members that you should be taking advantage of, and that's what we help with. And here's just a few publications, recent publications that have been put in press recently about our customers and how they're leveraging data today to better serve their members and their customers, right? Customers of the institution. We're happy to share a list of these with you post today's call if there's interest through some outreach. We'll share some links with you, make it easy for you to find these just to read. But they're very good reads covering both the credit union space and the banking space, and how I think you can easily correlate these stories to something relevant in your strategy as the institution. And it's not all about cross-sell. Absolutely, that's a no-brainer, right? Yes, we're here to help our customers better cross-sell their products, increase their deposits, right? Increase their loan growth, get more use out of their digital channels, right? Reduce their call center costs and costs associated with overhead as operating and serving your members. That's a no-brainer, but there's a lot of use cases that we assist our customers with, and many of those popular ones you see here, right? Whether that's competitive analysis, a lot of the insights we produce are insights around the type of banking or the competitive institutions that your members are banking with today outside of your portfolio. We do that by a very intense analysis on transactions leaving the institution, from bill pay and ACH events from their primary checking products and savings products with you as their primary institution, their primary credit union, and are they making payments for a Chase credit card, for instance, or a Citibank card? Do they have an auto loan through Ford Auto financing and things like that? We're doing that analysis and provide that data back to the institution from a competitive perspective, but also making it very actionable so they could take action with that information to win more of that business back from those competing institutions. Product adoption and onboarding. Just because you have that member sign up for that checking account, it doesn't mean you yet have a very good and sticky relationship with that member, right? How do you graduate that member to utilize their checking account for things like direct deposit, activating debit cards, right? Signing up for and activating online banking and bill pay against that checking account, right? We're helping our customers drive their members through better product utilization and really a tighter relationship, driving that member to utilize their credit union as their primary institution of record. And there's lots of other use cases here that we'd be happy to share with you as you see on screen, but these are all very active and popular initiatives which our customers are leveraging their data and their channels and our services to be successful with. So what do? We look at data, specifically transaction data, and other data from the core, like relationship data, and we analyze that data, we consume it within our platform, and produce something that we call key lifestyle indicators. And just to give you a definition of what a key lifestyle indicator is, it's really a tag or an attribute that describes your member, and it's not just one attribute per member. Typically, any member at the institution can have any number of key lifestyle indicators associated to them. The numbers typically average somewhere between 40 and 70 different KLIs are associated with your member, as well as we've seen as many as 300 or more key lifestyle indicators assigned to your members to describe them based on the data they're supplying to you today. And KLIs are broken up, key lifestyle indicators are broken up into various categories. What products do they hold, right? What is their relationship with you at the institution? Do they hold a checking account, a savings account? What kind of auto loan do they have with you? We constantly keep this information up to date and available to the institution. Consumer spend KLIs, right? Are they a home improver? Are they a traveler, right? All this information, or are they sending kids to college at this point in time in their life? We're extracting these details, and our models run against transaction data to identify these consumer spend categories and really what's going on in the life of these members on a personal basis. We'll analyze business spend and categorize business spend transactions as well. Customer behavior indicators, and what's that mean? An example of that is if there's a member of your institution that's actively shopping mortgage rates or auto loan rates within your public-facing channels, like your public-facing website, then you want to know about that. We consume that information in real time and pair it together, instantly stitch it together with all the other data we're collecting on that member through utilizing the products you offer them. Predictive KLIs, again, we provide predictive audiences, like who's in market for a certain product. Competitive analysis, I touched on that a little earlier, so we have competitive KLIs, like who of your members has a competitive credit card with Chase Bank, for instance, or who has a competitive mortgage with Wells Fargo. And even down to basic kind of blocking and tackling analysis, breaking down different geography key lifestyle indicators, not only that they happen to be a member within the footprint that your institution serves, but what are specific areas and postal codes and things like that where these members reside and do a lot of their transacting. Where do they make purchases, et cetera. This is a really good example of all of the key lifestyle indicators and attributes that we're searching for, and this isn't all those in total. We seek to assign upwards of 7,000 to 10,000 different key lifestyle indicators that a member of yours could potentially have, but this gives you an example with just utilizing 3 basic data points within your core and other systems you supply these customers from a channel perspective and services you supply them. The simple data that those engagements and those systems make available really produce a lot of insight and information about your member very quickly, right? And so if we were to look at in this example the data input simply being kind of a single point of information about that customer, your customer record, right? This would reside in your MCIF or your core platform, right? In addition, information from the account holding or account level information about a checking account that this customer holds, along with a single bill pay transaction. In this example, it's a transaction going out to Segbank, National, PicPay, GM Financial, right? And so what this identifies is we're looking at that transaction description and the amount of that transaction going out through utilization of bill pay to draw a better understanding of this customer, all automated, all in real time, okay? And so you can see these are the different buckets of key lifestyle indicators we're extracting and making available to you as the institution in an automated way. We know, very quickly from a customer record, this is kind of blocking and tackling information, basic fundamentals. We know that this is a 37-year-old male, right? We know where this member resides within your footprint. We know what kind of account holder they are. Are they a primary account holder or a secondary or someone else on the account that doesn't really transact on that account very often? The product KLIs, just through ownership of that checking account, we're instantly creating key lifestyle indicators to say this member does have a checking account. We're automatically calculating an average balance over an average daily balance of that checking account, making that available to you as a user of the platform. As well as some tenure information. How long ago did this customer open or this member open this checking account with you? And what services are they utilizing tied to that checking account? Are they actively using their debit card? Is it active? Do they use bill pay? Did they take advantage of overdraft protection? Right? All this information really results into a single key lifestyle indicator for each of these attributes. And then here comes the good stuff, right? The really good stuff, the things that really differentiate us from a lot of other providers out there in the market, and that's through our analysis and the models that we have running against analyzing transactions that occur. And in this case, this transaction was a bill pay. Through this bill pay transaction, we're able to quickly understand that this member has a competitive auto loan with another institution. That other institution is GM Financial. So you will see within the attributes and KLIs we supply you that which of your members have an auto loan with GM Financial or any other common auto loan provider, right? We know naturally if they're paying for a vehicle and paying for an auto loan, they have a vehicle. They're an auto loan or they're an automobile owner, et cetera. And we also know through that behavior, how was that transaction paid for? How was bill pay utilized? Well, it was utilized through a mobile device. It was utilized through mobile banking, right? And so these are all just examples of a very one-time simple transaction occurring that produces a wealth of knowledge that we supply back to the credit union to leverage for whatever purpose. So again, just to describe what we're doing here, we really boil this down into two platform offerings. The first platform is a data insights platform, and this is all data generated from the institution and consumed into our platform from the institution. A key point of interest here is we're able to produce these insights and this data about your members and supply it back to you without ingesting any PII data about your member. Things like first name, last name, email address, phone number. Any of that data is not necessary for our patented process and our patented systems and platforms to produce the insights from the data you're publishing to the platform, which really puts you in a safe and secure situation. All right, your members' data is private, right? It's personal, and you need to keep it secure, and you have that you have that responsibility, all right, to keep their data secure. And we allow you to pull all the insights you can from that data because of the fact that we leverage it without PII and consume it, which really creates a safe and secure way to analyze and leverage the valuable data assets you have. That analytics process within the platform, as I described earlier, produce the results. The resulting data of that process is key lifestyle indicators. It's all those key lifestyle indicators that are assigned and associated to each one of your members. And that data is useful in and of itself. So you can engage with the data platform to build audiences, as Kent will demonstrate here in a few minutes, to build audiences, to interact and understand the attributes of your members and become more knowledgeable about your members. But we also offer a second platform, which is a marketing platform, which you have the option then to leverage these key lifestyle indicators in a fully automated, end-to-end automated marketing platform where you can actually build campaigns around your various strategies with different goals, build campaigns and deliver in real time as your members are engaging with your channels, deliver meaningful, relevant, and personalized engagements to those members in real time in a fully automated way without having to hire new employees at the institution to make this work. We handle setting up this automation, this engagement, and this messaging to these channels in a very targeted way. That's part of our software as a service model that we assist you in setting this up, monitoring it, and reporting on the effectiveness of these engagements, so you know if your outreach is working and functioning in the way that you would like it to. So it's a pretty complicated screen, but it's really very simple as I walk you through it. Common data sources we look at from the institution are on the left-hand side here, the data sources. Now, please keep in mind, these are just popular ones. It is not necessary to publish all this data all at once to the platform in order to get value from the platform. These are just the most common data sources that we pull in. Some institutions look at and publish 2, 3, or 4 of these. Others over time that have been customers of ours utilize most of this data, and they layer in data to the platform over time as we work with them. So it's really not a difficult data project up front to ensure that the data is being published to the platform, and that's really part of the partnership that we have with Celero, who is really kind of the keeper and the secure holder of this data. This allows this data exchange to happen very seamlessly and quickly because us too, right? Celero and Segmint are pulling in this data on your behalf, securing this data, making this a data anonymous to the platform, so your teams do not have to do this heavy lifting. We consume this data, as I mentioned, and we analyze it. We run it through our analytical models and produce key lifestyle indicators. So we publish those key lifestyle indicators to the end-to-end marketing platform that I mentioned, which allows you to plug in and deliver personalized engagements to any of the channels you see on the right-hand side, plus more, right? These, again, are just a lot of the common channels, popular channels used by our institutions and our customers. But again, some of those just use 2 or 3 of these channels, or start out with one of these channels and grow their channel integration over time in order to simplify getting started, but still get value out of the platform quickly. And in addition to that, we could supply the data back either through exports or API subscriptions, where we can actually take the insights and the audiences we're recommending and building within the platform, allow you to have access to those audiences, download them, and utilize them in any other for any other use or purpose at the institution beyond just channel engagements and message delivery. And finally, as Ken will walk you through, we're kind of shifting traditional thinking and market and kind of flipping it on its head a little bit. And what I mean by traditional marketing approaches is a lot of times campaigning within the institution, or a lot of industries really outside of banking even, is you go through a very kind of start and stop traditional campaign life cycle, where you first put together your strategy, you identify who you're going to target and reach out to with your message, right? You do the data steps necessary to pull that list together, whether that's an acquisition campaign or a messaging campaign, a cross-sell effort to your existing customers, for example. So you have that data step to finalize the list of who you're going to engage, right? And then you actually distribute. You send that offer out through whatever channel, you send that message out through whatever channel, and that lasts for a period of time, a couple months, 60 days, 90 days, etc. And then you stop the campaign because maybe that offer is no longer available specifically, or you simply just want to know, you want to measure results. So you stop campaigning, you collect that data, you produce your reports and put this information together to see how successful that campaign was. That's great, but we look at the world a little differently. Since we're continuously pulling in data in an automated way from your core platform and your channel systems, we're able to keep many of those messages and those campaigns running without a stop date. And what determines if a customer or a member of the institution receives a personalized engagement about a specific offer, a product, a message, etc., is really based on the data they produce. So if the data they're producing determines that they will receive a certain key lifestyle indicator and determines that they're a market for a product, they automatically fall into the target campaign without doing a separate list generation or a data process, a manual data process. Since we've automated the flow of data to the platform, we automatically sense when a member is in market for a campaign, and they automatically receive those messages that should be targeted to them and personalized to them. So I'm going to hand it over to Kent, and he's going to walk you through some of the interfaces that our customers enjoy to understand their customers and their members better, but to also campaign and message out to those members.
Great, thanks Nate. I appreciate it. Rojan, appreciate the opportunity to be with you guys today. What you're looking at is the actual environment that Nate was just speaking about. He talked at a high level about KLI technology, our ability to assign key lifestyle indicators to each and every one of your members, around things as simple as to what products they have with your institution, to more behaviorally based, how they're interacting with said products and your institution, to the competitive information that Nate was talking about, who's making competitive payments to other, say, cards or other products, right? Well, what the platform allows you to do is also look at that data visually. So again, this is the data your institution is currently sitting on. It's mapped and organized according to the way your institution is structured, as well as your particular member population. So I've taken the liberty of jumping into our environment from a blinded existing institution that has a current population of 582,000 members. Please note that the platform will work with institutions of all sizes. We have institutions with 10,000 members, and we have institutions with millions of members. It really doesn't matter as long as the same salient data points are being ingested. It's just now a matter of the size of the population. So what we have here is our KLI discovery view, a visual representation of how these KLI are assigned. So for instance, as I start moving my cursor over into, say, the product section, I start seeing what percentage of my audience or member base has any particular type of KLI. So I'm over in consumer checking. Now I can click on that, and it'll become the innermost ring for easier navigation. And I can dive down to the specific types of, say, checking accounts that an institution or a member may have. So if I wanted to go after everybody who, say, has my preferred checking account, there they are. I could now set up a campaign to reach out to those individuals. Now, I mentioned a moment ago that this taxonomy is mapped to your specific product set. So if your institution has, say, 12 different types of consumer checking accounts, you would see all 12 different types of consumer checking accounts mapped in this scenario. Now, by clicking the center ring, it'll bring me back to the overarching view. That's just, say, the product side. I mentioned things like behavioral. We can get into how they're actually interacting with your products and services. We can see who's got what products, how many number of products they have, how long they've been tenured within an organization. We can see things like account balances and transactions and frequency and all of that, but we can also see things like utilization. So one of the areas I like to highlight when I show the platform is product utilization. And I'll focus on, we'll say, debit card utilization. So if I click on this, Nate was talking about always-on technology, that last slide before we went to the environment. The ability to set campaigns that deliver messages at just the right time to your members based upon what we know about them and what they may need. And a real-world example of that, and that personalization Nate was talking about, is right here. So for instance, I see a large debit card utilization population, almost 23,000 individuals. But in that always-on environment, I can have one campaign for debit card utilization with different versions of messaging, automatically set to go based upon how an individual is working with their debit card product. So for instance, the individuals you see up here who have a debit card but aren't utilizing it all may need to see a message that talks to them about the benefits of a debit card or incites them to try using the debit card. Well, whereas the individuals over here and down here who clearly have used the debit card quite frequently, they don't need to see that same message, right? They're well versed in what the advantages are of using your institution's debit card. They need to see a message that perhaps talks to them about another product or service that's relevant to them or rewards them for their frequency of use. But again, all within one campaign, multiple versions of creative can be ready to go and delivered based upon how an individual or a member is working with your institution. Another area that I wanted to highlight before I show you how we do all of this is the competitive side of the KLIs. When Nate was showing those slides about data, things flowing through the ACH and DDA and online bill pay transactions and all of that information really allows us to glean very granular level insights around your members and what they're doing. Obviously, you just saw them highlighting some of the product stuff they're doing with your institution, but it can go much deeper than that. We can now see who's making competitive, say, credit card payments down to the issuer level. So you can talk to them about your aggressive rates or why they may want to speak to you. Or if you want to look at things like, who's got a competitive auto loan and who is that loan with, down to the actual issuer level. Here's my individuals who are financing their vehicle at, say, Ford Motor Credit or Honda Motor Finance, or however you want to break it out. All of that information is available, and you can now use that from your own walls for perhaps the first time to personalize messages based upon relevance and need to your member base. So that same personalization they're seeing from a Netflix, from an Amazon, from a Hulu or a Facebook, those decisions and that personalization is based on a very, very small amount of spend. The average Amazon Prime customer is spending about $200 per month. You're sitting transactionally on much, much more than that about your members. So now our platform allows you to use that, right? So where I wanted to go next is actually highlight how we actually do what it is we do, and that's the campaign portion. What you'll see here now is a great deal of information. A number of campaigns are set up already since I jumped into an existing environment. As I scroll down, I see the campaigns this institution currently has running. On the left, you see the campaign name. The second column is the goal of the campaign. The Segmint platform requires a goal for each individual campaign because, as Nate was pointing out, the system will show you conversion metrics. It will show you ROI results. And to do that, a campaign needs to have a goal affiliated with it so the system knows what is a successful campaign, what is a conversion, what is an influence, right? So that's why you see the goal listed here. And this is all selected from a drop-down menu. I'll show you in just a moment. You see the start date, you see the end date is listed as always on, and you see the status of the campaign. In the interest of time, I'm going to jump into an existing campaign to show you what the process looks like, and I'll show you some of the metrics around it. What you're looking at now is where the institution would start their campaign. They would select the goal from this drop-down menu, which would be preloaded with their strategic initiatives. You can name the campaign whatever you want. You can select the start date. You could toggle an end date if you needed to for things like a limited time offer or seasonality. Or, since I mentioned, most of our campaigns are in an always-on state because you're not wasting any media or delivery by only delivering messages to the individuals that make sense. But next, what you're brought to is the actual audience portion. This is where we're selecting who are the candidates for this particular campaign. I jumped into a home equity line of credit campaign, and I'll show you what they've selected in just a moment. But this is where I could start selecting things like the same data we just looked at, just now in a linear tree structure. If I wanted to go look at individuals who have a particular product set with me, I could do that. I could grab everybody who's got a consumer product, or I could go down to the specific type of product. I see a variety of different sources of information here. I can get into things like consumer spend. Who are my individuals who may like to, dine out quite a bit, or who are my world travelers, or who are individuals that have kids, or who are the individuals who like to shop at, say, Home Depot or Lowe's or make a lot of home improvement purchases. That is all available within the platform. And you can start creating an audience equation based upon what the goals of the campaign are. So, for instance, I can scroll down now and see the audience they've selected for this existing campaign. And it reads just like it says in this and/or taxonomy. They're including consumer KLI individuals that are consumers, right? As well as those who have at least one of the following KLIs, a mortgage loan or a competitive mortgage. But the platform also allows you the ability to exclude individuals. So you're excluding from this campaign individuals who currently have a home equity product with your institution. And what this does now is it lowers and gets much more strategic in targeting the individuals that make relevant sense. So at this moment, 29,599 members would be a candidate for this particular campaign, which obviously is much more rifled than the 582,000 we started with. And then the platform at a glance shows me a revised cross-section of what all of these institutions have, or all of these individuals have in common. So once this equation is set, I can name it whatever I want, I can share it, I can let other users of the platform see it, or I can come back to it at any time if I wanted to modify. But the beautiful thing about Always On is people will come in and out of this campaign without you having to lift a finger. You really can set it and forget it when it comes to creating audiences. But we can get much more specific. Once you've selected your audience, then you can select the channels you want to deliver in. You can deliver on the open internet, your public and private websites, online banking, mobile, you name it. This particular institution has 2 channels available at the moment for this particular campaign. But once you select your channel, then it's a matter of selecting the media. And this is what I really wanted to highlight. You can now get very granular as to how you target. I mentioned earlier the ability to have multiple versions of creative. Now you can do that. Within the platform right here, I see 4 versions of creative ready to go. I see a generic home equity campaign. I see a home equity campaign for individuals that have kids, may need to increase the size of their home. I also see one over here for apparently home improvement enthusiasts looking for their next home project. But the question would be, who gets which message? Well, you have the ability to micro-target in our platform. So if I click on this presence of children one, I can get into micro-targeting or media personalization. It will bring me back to the same base KLI we had previously selected, and you'll note they are now grayed out. I see the consumer previously that was listed, the mortgage loan, competitive mortgages, etc. But now there's a new KLI added to this particular version of the message, the presence of children KLI. And look at what it's done to our targeting. Now from 29,000, well actually from 582,000 down to 29,000 who are candidates for a HELOC, to 2,900 are currently candidates based upon their presence of children and likelihood to need a HELOC for improvement or in adding space to their home. So you have now gotten much more specific for this particular message. So now I see an even further revised wheel of what these individual members look like. If I wanted to, I could extract the UCIC list right here, these 2,900 individuals, and have my call center reach out to them, or maybe a direct mail piece or email blast, or the platform can automatically deliver messages to them in any of the channels it sees them, such as mobile and online banking and your public and private website or out on the open internet. But you can see just how rifled you can get. You can truly get down to an audience of one if you are so inclined. Now, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, there's more than meets the eye with just putting together these type of campaigns. One of the things I want to highlight is if I go back to the main start here, I can see a variety of different metrics around a campaign at any given time. Nate was talking a bit about the ability on that final piece on that last slide, the ability to show you reporting and actually measure the tangible results of how your campaign is doing. And I highlighted a little bit about that when I was talking about what is a successful goal of a campaign. Well, what you're looking at here and what is available at any time is actual real-time campaign metrics. So we can see at a glance in the dashboard that pops up for any of these campaigns, who are the individuals that are influenced or converting, how many successful customers have opened the product or service you've talked to them about, how many impressions have gone out for the lifetime of this campaign, an impression being a message, a targeted message going to an individual about this product. What is the impression efficiency over the lifetime of this campaign? On average, how many impressions is it taking to get a conversion? But I draw your attention to the two figures listed here. This is how specific the platform can get based upon your input when we onboard your institution. Not only will it mark, obviously, the impressions going out or how many conversions you're receiving, the platform, based upon figures provided to us from you, will actually determine what is the face value, in this example, the line value, right, of those products that have been opened, so almost $18 million in home equity. And it'll also show you a first year, based upon figures, things like net interest margin and other factors you give us, an estimated first year economic value of those influences, of those conversions. So you, perhaps for the first time ever, and the marketing teams here at your credit unions can say, hey, we've allocated X amount to a particular campaign or strategic product this year, but we're actually getting Y back year to date, and we can extrapolate that over the life of a particular product or service. So that's why you see two different values there, the face value of the products as well as the first year value. And it actually gets much more detailed than that. We have a lot of interactive pop-ups here that show you specifically impression efficiency over time. You can get into impressions and influences over a period of time or a particular month. If I highlight any of these, more information pops up. You'll see I'm in a sandboxed environment, so don't look at this drop-off as being a concern. The data stopped flowing from my environment here in October, but the platform realizes I'm still in January, so that's why you see no input there. But you can also see influences and face value in any particular period. You can look at it in a variety of different areas. We also have the ability to go even deeper than that by selecting the Reports tab at the top. I could get very specific. I can pull up custom reports for particular time frames. I can get into impression to conversion reports at a deeper level. A variety of different factors is completely available within the platform. But I bring this all to life just to really show you that for many institutions, it's the first time they can visually see their data. They can actually create audiences and equations and scenarios based upon what their members are doing, not what they think their members are doing, but tangibly what their members are actually doing and what is next in their members' lifestyle. And you can now start to predict without having to staff up or server up what your members are going to do and reach out to them ahead of the curve. So things like onboarding, as Nate was talking about, or cross-sell, upsell, organic growth, or product development, all of that becomes easier to manage with data at your fingertips and a visual, easy-to-use tool like we provide. I'm going to come up for air there. I'm going to transition it back to Roshan, and we can talk some next steps, answer any questions you may have, and see where we can help you out in your journey.
Well, thanks, Kent, and thank you, Nate, for those wonderful insights. At this point, I'm going to leave the floor open for any questions. If there's any questions, please let us know. Christina, if you don't mind, please unmute the audience. Are there any questions?
Rojan, can you see the question that came in from Phil via text?
I'm just going to check that.
He was asking if this can be integrated into any website.
Kent, Nate?
So the question is, can this be integrated into any website? The answer is yes. So we look at any web, whether it's a public-facing website or behind the login, right? That the institution provides to their members. We can integrate with any content management systems, online banking systems, loan portals, etc. In addition to that, through that integration, we also have the ability to deliver the same messages to those members through an integration that the platform has with the real-time bidding networks and display ad networks out over the rest of the internet. So these same messages that in personalized engagements you can serve within your own channels can be served again throughout any other typical website that you would find on the internet, like weather.com or CNN, a favorite shopping site, etc.
Phil, did that answer your question?
Yeah, just to clarify, does a member have to log in then in order to get these targeted ads?
Yes, as to get the targeted messages on the digital-only channels, meaning the internet-based channels, yes, part of our identification process requires them to either log in to a secure location offered by the institution or identify themselves in some way. Also, there's other approaches we could take with that, like email opens. We can integrate with email platforms and identify the device and the member on these digital channels through other methods as well. It's not only a login, but that's a popular way in which we do that identification.
Okay, so today, like a lot of us use Member Direct, and some of us use a Member Direct integrated site where the login is integrated into the website homepage. But if we're not using a Member Direct integrated website, then we'd have to probably work with Solera or somebody to facilitate a login that's on our homepage, right?
That's I'll take this, Nate. Yeah, that's correct. I think till we're very well aware of this, till there is a proper digital channel, a digital banking front end, that is a restriction, Phil. That's absolutely right. But you could circumnavigate that. There are ways that you could hit the member directly. It might not be very targeted, but you could go through Nate and Ken, please correct me, but there are through the social network and stuff, you could still target members, but at a broader base, correct?
Somewhat, yeah. There's ways we can through engagements on on other digital channels than behind the login, we can identify with absolute certainty that this is a member and deliver these targeted engagements out over their navigation of the rest of the internet. But yeah, there's methodologies in which we can do that. That doesn't necessarily require a login to Member Direct.
The capabilities are there, Phil. It's a matter of how Member Direct can be open to identifying that particular member you want to target.
Yeah, okay. It sounds like a login would be the best, but
right.
I mean that's feasible. I've just, Member Direct has really pushed their MDI sites as the main benefit is this homepage login integration. But I've seen some custom websites from other credit unions that have a more modern look and feel, and they've somehow gotten the code and integrated that
Correct.
login themselves. So
right. It is certainly possible. It is certainly possible. Yeah.
I just want to say I'm really impressed with this presentation. Like I haven't seen anything that makes it so clear, and like the visual representation of how you can drill down visually, that just kind of blew me away. So thanks.
Thanks, Phil. And we are certainly aware of other types of integrations with this platform. It can even integrate to sort of a teller screen, or you have a screen on the side. So when a member is actually doing a physical interaction, and the teller or someone in the bank or a loan officer for that matter, if they're identifying that member physically at that point, there is a potential that you could pop this up to that particular loan officer, and they then can actually use the sort of the targeted information manually to be communicated to the member. So there are other options too. So any other questions before we close here? Okay. So thank you, Nate and Ken. That was really good insight. And from Celero's perspective, we're currently actively looking for credit unions who would like to do a POC, a proof of concept. If you have any particular use cases that you would like to try, we are certainly open to that. If anybody is interested about the proof of concept or like to know a bit more information about the product and want to kind of get into a deep dive discussion, you can reach to me. Sorry, if you can go to the next screen, please, Rachel. So my email address is here on the screen. It's rojinnair@celero.ca. So you can reach out to me directly, or you can reach out to any of your account execs, and we can have that discussion. So we really want to thank our partners from Segmint today for that great presentation, and we truly appreciate everybody taking the time to join us today. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day.